Wanjiru was the most beautiful girl in all the 9 hills. She was so beautiful that all the men wanted to marry her. Oh, when she walked, it looked like she was walking on air. When she fluttered her eyelids, it looked like she was floating around as well. When she smiled and laughed, everybody wanted to look at her, and they awed at her beautiful white teeth. Oh, she was so beautiful that the men in the village would line up outside her village, outside her hut, and ask her father if they could marry her. One by one they went, hoping and praying that he would say yes to that young man. The father would say, yes, it's okay, if my daughter agrees. And so they would go next to Wanjiru. Wanjiru, please accept my humble hand in marriage. But Wanjiru would look at them and sneer. You're not handsome enough. I can't marry you. Oh, and the men would leave, walking away slowly. And the next one would come. Wanjiru, please, take my hand in marriage. I love you. You are the most beautiful in the village. But Wanjiru would always sneer. You're not handsome enough. And so the men were always so sad. The only place they would see her and watch her without having a problem is when she would be down at the river, where she loved to sit on the grass and look at the water and talk with her friends. In that space, she was very, very comfortable. One day, she was sitting in her father's house, and a very handsome young man came to ask for her hand in marriage. This handsome man was tall, he was dark, he was handsome, and he looked like he had purpose in life. The young man came and asked for her hand in marriage. Oh, the father was very impressed, and so was the mother. And so the young man went to Wanjiru. Wanjiru, please let me marry you. I love you. You're the most beautiful girl in all the 9 hills. Wanjiru looked at him and thought, this might just be the one. And so, wedding preparation started. Everybody was running around. They were singing all the songs they would sing. The bride price was brought and her dowry was paid. Oh, she was so excited to go and start her new life in this new village where this man had come from. And so he took her by the hand and he told the villagers, we don't need to be escorted. We can go on our own. I'll protect her. And so he did. He took her hand and they walked out of the village, away from the 9 hills. And when they saw his village in the distance, Wanjiru was so happy. She said, my new home. She was so excited. They approached the village and she saw that, the people in this village were very tall, very sturdy. This is definitely where I shall live. And so she kept walking into the village and people would look at her and her husband as they walked in. They would look at her again and keep going on their way. This was very strange because in the 9 hills, whenever a new bride was brought into town, there was ululation, there was celebration, there was singing, there was dancing, there was plenty of food. And so, she was very confused by this. They went all the way, walking slowly, to her new home. When she got there, she looked around. The houses were not like the ones in her village. And the people were not celebrating the coming of a new bride. This was a very strange village. When she looked back again at all the people she had passed coming in, she had to look again. Wait, these are not people, they're ogres. Oh no, what did I get myself into? Wanjiru asked herself. These were ogres, they were going to eat me. And so when she got to the house, she told her husband, I'll sit out here. It is customary for us in our village to sit outside the hut and wait for the villagers to come and escort you. And the husband went into the house and she thought and thought, how am I going to get myself out of this mess? She thought and thought, a solution wasn't coming. And so she sat out there and asked her husband, is it possible to get a meal? I would like to eat something because I need strength. We've walked so far over the 9 hills and past them to your village. And so her husband brought her something out there. And she ate as she was thinking. She slept out there overnight while she was telling herself, tomorrow I must find a way to escape. The next morning, Wanjiru knew just what she was going to do. She started to walk out of the village slowly, while noticing that now none of the ogres were pretending to be human. They were in their ogre bodies this morning, and she knew this was her only chance to live. She walked slowly, slowly, trying not to be noticed by anyone. Oh, she walked and walked and walked. Soon, her husband realized she was no longer outside the house. He looked. Beautiful, beautiful Wanjiru, where do you go? You need to come back, because today I will not eat you, maybe tomorrow. Oh no, Wanjiru knew she definitely had to start running. And she started running. She ran, as she sang a beautiful song, hoping the people on the 9 hills would hear her. People of the 9 hills who sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. My father too sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. And the ogre would sing again. Beautiful, beautiful Wanjiru, where do you go? You must come back. I will not eat you today, but I'll eat you tomorrow. And Wanjiru would sing again, people of the 9 hills who sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. My father who also sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. She sang and sang and sang as she ran farther and farther away from the ogre's village. Soon she got to a place that had many, many trees. She looked around and realized, if I climb one of these trees and sing from up there, maybe my villagers will hear me. And so she climbed and climbed and climbed to the very top, knowing that ogres could not climb trees. And she sang again, people of the 9 hills who sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. My father who also sold me to an ogre. He wants to eat me. Listen to the ogre song. Soon, the people in the village started to hear her voice. And her brother heard her as well. He said, isn't that my sister's voice? So he went with his big spear, and he went and he followed the sound of her voice. When he got close enough, he noticed why his sister was in distress. And so he approached the ogre slowly, and he stabbed him in the back with a boom. Oh no, the ogre fell to the ground and died. And slowly, Wanjiru came down the tree, and she hugged her brother tight, because she was so happy to finally have a family member with her. And he rescued her from her husband, who was actually an ogre. Oh boy, she was so happy. When her brother was leading her back to the village, she felt relief. When the brother got back to the village and back to their father's house, he told her father, why did you sell my sister to an ogre? I told you to never let Wanjiru marry anybody when I'm not here. And the father said, oh, but he was a handsome man. He gave us lots of dowry. We couldn't say no. We didn't know he was an ogre. And her brother was very upset. And he told the villagers and told her father, nobody will ever sell my sister to anybody else. I am the one who will release my sister to the man who will marry her. And so it was. Wanjiru stayed in the village of the 9 hills until her brother approved of the man